She know I love her. Hey everybody, this is your girl G.
And Key.
And that's T. No, that's not T. That's T. And that's Trish. And they are a happily married couple that have managed to master co-parenting. Man, now see, I'm gonna go ahead and give you some inside scoop. No, that's a she. He's my brother by blood. My mama was the incubator, and my daddy dropped him off. So that's my firstborn right over there. So I just wanted everybody to know that he didn't come from me, but that's my firstborn. And I wanted you all to know that I am very proud of this young couple and all that they have managed to accomplish as it relates to their children, as to the relationships that they have with their children's other biological parents, but then the relationships that have managed to be repaired to the point that everything is about the well being of the children. And that is where we are going to kick off because my sister here, she has actually lived this life. She too has lived the life of co-parenting, and having the relationship with the biological parent and then the bonus parents.
Yes.
So I'm going to defer and turn the floor over to you, but I want to first allow this couple to introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm TJ, the married dad. That I
Right.
I try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Man of God. Uh, that's about it. That's about all y'all need to know right now.
Definitely yours. Definitely yours. Definitely.
Well, I'm Trish. I'm TJ's wife. We've been married for 6 years. We have 6 children. Um, I'm originally from Meridian, Mississippi. I met TJ in college at Scuba Tech. We've been friends ever since then. Um, I don't know what else to tell you about me.
She's like, I don't know what else to tell you about me. Other than the fact that you are an amazing catalyst in the healing of the relationship between my biological nieces and nephews, my brother's children and their mother. Yeah, she's gonna be in and out people just because we're living this thing called life, and she still has to be mom. Um, but she is, a catalyst, has been a catalyst.
Absolutely.
And I applaud her and I applaud TJ because he has his relationship with her children's father is to the point where they call him their baby daddy. So, when you have those relationships,
yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing when you have the whole tribe, and everything is about the children. So I want you to introduce yourself and
they know who I am.
They know who you are.
They on my show, they better know who I am.
Well, that's true. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share the image that actually sparked this topic. We initially thought that the other original guest would be able to share with us, but unfortunately, she is not able to be here this evening. Uh, good evening, everyone. We appreciate you joining us. but I'm going to share the original post. And it is here. It's like this particular picture, and she came back and she was like, edits came back. Most people who shared our last photo thought we were two friends or two sisters or in a relationship. But no, we are two mothers, same baby daddy. When you grow as a person and gain that type of maturity, you can do things like this to create memories for the kids.
Absolutely.
Only people who know us, that it's like basically they had a rough 4 years of knowing each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why take away from them, speaking of the children, knowing each other and their happiness when when they are together, because the moms can't get it together. But look at us now. I'm happy we've gotten to this point, and it's not about us. It's about them. Those kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Being cool with your baby dad's baby mother is not a crime. She actually posted this back in 2019, and it went viral.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes without saying that with all of the reality TV drama, that is all people tend to expect when you start talking about having children and having their bonus parents
Right.
in the lives of the children. So, Key, I'm gonna let you kind of.
So I'm gonna start before we get into your story, because I there are aspects to your story that I still don't know, TJ and Trish. I'm gonna start. So when baby girl's father and I got together, he already had 3 children. And at that time, I was told that I would never have children. So I got with him. That meant that I got with those children, and so the children, those were my children, and I was helping, I was cooking, I was going to parent teacher conferences, I was doing, I was
Mama K.
a Mama K. Then my daughter came along. And so that kind of threw a tailspin on things a little bit. So now we have 4 kids. Still taking care of his, still taking care of mine. There was no difference and no distinction. Then number 5 came along. Now that one caused a little bit of a rift. Not gonna lie, that caused some issues because that meant that there was baby mama number 3. So that one caused a little bit. That one was ugly. The first wife and I, we were pregnant at the same time. So being pregnant at the same time, there was a lot of
hormones raging.
Ooh, it was nasty. It was ugly.
TJ's
like, whoa. Yeah, it was ugly. That was a very, very ugly summer because of course we're both at all the family functions and all of that. It was ugly. It was, I'm not gonna lie to you, people would just be like, okay, you come at this time and you come at this time. Like, it was bad. But I can say that she is to this day one of my best friends. Absolutely love her to death. She can call me, I can call her whenever, whatever. We talk to each other all the time now, even though the kids are grown. So then there was a new wife that came in the picture. And even so, the children are older, but she was still having to be, bonus mom. She had to interact with the kids. When I tell you, I went to her house because I was down there visiting. I went to her house. So it was me and my best friend, who was the children's godmother. So me and my best friend, the first wife, and the current wife, we're all sitting down at the table together with the kids in in their house. And like, he had a couple of friends that came in and they walked in and they saw all of us and they were like, oh, He had one friend who walked in who was like, hey, and then he like looked around the table at everybody that was around the table. He laughed. Like he left. Like he did not come back. He left. The other one like walked in. He hadn't seen me in like 10 years. And so he's just like, and that's my daughter's godfather. And he's like, oh, boo, how you doing? And he's all hugging me. And so while he's hugging me, he's also looking around the table at everybody who's there. And so he's like, hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? Da 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 da. And he's walking through and he's still like looking over his shoulder. And he goes outside, and as he's closing the door, he said, man, how'd you do that? And I went very politely over to their door, opened it up, and I said, hey, do this. This is us. We did this. Because at the end of the day, it's about these children. It's about the children that we have all raised together and that we are now entrusting with this other woman.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's about the kids.
At the end of the day.
So, and we're all cool, okay? Now, baby mama number 3, but 1, 2, and 4, we're all good. I'm just saying.
That's funny.
Number 3 tries. She does every now and then. She really does try, but she was very messy. So we don't.
Aw, he went to better lighting. Thank you. That's so sweet. He went to better lighting.
That's he did that for you.
He did. He loves me. But so I want to go ahead and just kind of TJ, I want to kind of delve without, we'll get personal, but we won't go too
Super
personal. Deep. It's like the only words that parents need to say to their children before performance: have fun, play hard, love you. After performance, did you have fun? I love you. I'm proud of you. I love to watch you play. Now, I'm showing these and I'm going to go back to them. It's like when speaking with a hostile ex, you would likely be drawn into an argument and nothing will get resolved. Limit communication to texting and email. This way you can choose what to respond to, and you will be able to delete knee-jerk retorts that you would make if you were on the phone. And the final one that I'm going to share is the more co-parents communicate with one another about the children, the less likely for small issues to grow into major problems. Select days, times for phone, email, or in-person visits. Discuss in advance visitation, transfer agreements. List who's responsible for what on each day, week, or month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because I have been a part of TJ's journey, because I have been a part of TJ's journey, I will say this. He has had a volatile relationship with the children's mother for multiple reasons. It wasn't just, just because they were no longer together. So it's like, I'm not going to let you see your children and blah, blah, blah. It was, there were a lot of different situations that led to him having full custody of his children. And, but even in the midst of all of those issues, the one thing that I will say that makes me most proud of him when it comes down to the children, and then TJ, I'm going to ask you a very direct question.
Direct answer.
Is the fact that even when they were going through their divorce proceeding, even when they were, the judge was like adamant, he did not want those children to have anything to do with their biological mother, based on some of the things that had been said in court and some of the things that had come forth. My brother was adamant while he was talking to the judge and telling him that I know what all's been said. I know what all has been heard. but I do not want my children to not have a relationship with their mother.
Mm.
He and the judge kind of went back and forth. He was because the judge was like, "Well, I feel
Mm.
that she doesn't deserve it." He's like, "I understand, Your Honor, and I don't mean any disrespect." And I'm kind of paraphrasing. He was like, "But if a relationship is not going to take place, I don't want it to be because of anything that has to do with me." And of all of the situations and everything that's been going on as it relates to him being a parent and a single father, that is the one thing that has really resonated with me. They've had their ups, they've had their downs, but my question, TJ, is in the midst of being a single father, before God's gift to our family came, and I'm gonna talk about her directly soon. Um, what was one of the biggest struggles about co-parenting with your children's mother, your oldest children's mother?
The biggest struggles that I had, was basically communication. It didn't happen at that time. It was so hard to do, uh, because of the frame of minds that we were both in. Uh, I was headstrong. She was pretty, pretty hurt, and as you know, as anybody would be if they lost custody of their children. So it made her a bit bitter towards whatever sense I was making. It didn't matter just because I was saying it. Didn't mean it meant she was going against it. She was going to fight it. And in a nutshell, she eventually had to grow up. It was scary to me, borderline still scary to me now. But the thing is, communication was always the hardest thing to do because we weren't on the same page as far as co-parenting is concerned. It was more so of her dealing with her issues and me trying to figure out a way to keep that bitterness away from the kids, but at the same time have a relationship with their mom. I hope that's direct.
How did you maintain? How did you eventually get to the point where you all were able to deal with the visitation issue in the midst of all of that bitterness, in the midst of everything that was going on?
Even though it doesn't need to be said, but I am going to say it. All of this happened because of God's favor on our lives. One, the fact of the matter is that I'm a man that has custody of his children. That's nothing but favor. That doesn't happen every day. And then, secondly, it's like the period that I went through before I got custody of my children, because but everybody else doesn't know. There was a period when I didn't have custody. I was working two jobs, struggling and having mental breakdowns, missing my children, working so much, staying up weekends at a time, sending money to them regularly. And on a, it was just the fact that period that I went through was so strenuous and so painful that I didn't want even her to experience that. So that's why I kind of fought so adamantly about, let them still have a relationship with their mother. Because at the end of the day, that's their mother, regardless if she's right or wrong. They need to know their mother. And I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. Sorry. But I went through all of that to say, basically, in order to get to the communication part, it had to be the favor on my life. And I just had to remain patient because what I did in the meantime, I really had to really trust God, because it was some times where I felt like I was going to lose custody of my children with my children when, she got them for a period of time and I had to wait to go get them an attorney to go get them back again. Um, I said, God, if you want me to keep these children, you want me to have these children, you're going to have to make this happen. So it gave me a way where I could pay the attorney, had to go to court, I went back and got custody of my kids, even though she had gotten them for a while. And so it's like, it's nothing that I did personally, but all I did was just persevere. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help the favor that was on my life, and it still is, So in a nutshell, I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Trish a question. We see right now that she's a little mobile, so I'm gonna wait till she's able to, rejoin us because she's being mom on this thing called life. She was there's my pretty chocolate drop.
You gotta turn the audio down.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you, Trish. Coming into this situation with TJ, you all were friends first. I'm gonna ask you to turn your radio down just a little.
What about
Yeah.
there?
Can you still hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, coming into your friendship with TJ, you all have been friends for years. He was divorced, had his children, and you had your children. And when things kind of started to come together and you began to, well, the two of you got together and you realized, you all got married, just how intense the relationship with him and the children's mothers were. How did you, as the bonus mom, manage to handle kind of working through that transition to smooth things out a little bit so that it would work better for the children?
So coming in, the first thing that came to my mind was how in the world could this mom not wanna or not even have her kids from jump? That was the first thing that came to me. Because I say even with me not being with my kids, like that's traumatizing to me. So I'm sitting here like, what is it that I could do to make this happen? Not just for these kids, but for her as well. So of course, I would go to TJ and be like, what you think? And he'll be like, well, I don't know, like, because he don't know where her head is at, like at the moment or what have you. So I'm like, but can we at least try? He was like, well, you can, but it took some time, but me coming into the situation, it was just unbelievable to me because I can't believe, first of all, how can you not see your kids? And second of all, how is it that you don't even have them? To me, I've never seen where a dad had custody of his kids. Like I've never seen that. I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be real. Like, is she still alive? Like, what's really going on? The reason why you have custody of these kids. So it was a task. It was a challenge, but I was up for that.
Yes, you
So
were.
I just did what I did whatever I needed to do to make it happen.
And transparent moment coming from Graham T/TTD. There were times where, I truly pay homage because being a part of the journey, I'll just say it like that. There were times where, and I told Trish straight away, I was like, that heifer crazy. She's mental, and you don't need to trust her. Period. Based on past experiences, overall, and it wasn't because it was my brother that she had the children with, but it was because of personal observation.
Yeah.
And it was so volatile between him and her until, in order for him to see them sometimes, I would pick the children up. He would spend his time, whatever time that was that they had agreed upon, and then I would take them back because they could not coexist in the same space. When Trish came into the picture, things were better, but they weren't to the point where they could have a civil conversation. One, because if we're being transparent, she was still emotionally invested and bitter, like TJ was saying. And he was dealing with a lot of anger. Now, if I'm wrong, TJ, you correct me.
Yeah.
Um, he was dealing with a lot of anger, and I was telling Trish because I did not want her to be blindsided by what was the history of that relationship. And as a mother, those children had not really had a healthy maternal influence in the home with their father.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They had Gram T or TTD, whichever they decide to call me on any given point in time, at any other point in time. But up until then, they really didn't have that person to love up on them fully and completely, because it's so funny to watch her with the children. A lot of times she will love up on his biological children more than her own. And so you would think that they came from her poo poo. But and so over time, even her relationship with the biological mother was volatile because, of manipulation and different things. But like TJ said, it took time, but communication was key.
Comprehension of the communication.
That part. Now, TJ, you tell me what you really see as the turning point and where things started to get better in your situation.
There's a couple of things. Because, huh?
I said you started laughing.
Because there's a couple of things. For one, well, my baby mother and uh, my children had a common enemy, and that was my second wife.
Mm.
So that really solidified. Well, I ain't gonna say solidified, but it made her way more motherly like over her children,
Yeah.
versus how she
People
used
would do
to.
that.
Because at first it was like, well, shoot, he got my kids so well, so they fine, they gonna be all right. But then when she finds out that he got some issues, or my baby's got some stuff going on, and he ain't doing what he's supposed to do, or I need to step in and this, that, and that. She's not mama. But that was one of the things that made her blow up real quick. Secondly, there's another thing where she just had to eventually mature and understand that it wasn't necessarily about dealing with TJ. It's about, making sure the children have a good, healthy relationship and know how to deal with people and adults and how they, are raised. Because like you said, it's the comprehension of understand of communication. You know, until you realize that you really got to communicate with this person to make some stuff happen, then you know you just out there in your own world doing your own thing. But see, I'm gonna be honest, this is the pillar of the problem that we have in the United States. Not just co-parenting, parenting, period. Piss poor parenting is the reason why this doggone country is going down to a wastebasket. And I'm gonna say not necessarily of our faith or our forefathers or our foundations or where we went from or where we came from. What I'm gonna say is basically of home training.
Mm.
It's just simple home training.
And slap them
Treat
both
folks like you
head
want to
and
be
mouth.
treated. Treat folks like you want to be treated. You know, if we can't teach our children, you know, love God with your heart, soul, and mind, you know, and then love your neighbor like yourself, you know, then that's where we have a real problem there because it's all about me, not necessarily about uh, what those principles actually were about. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, boy. That's my little rant.
Yeah, because it's you know, the fact that there are so many pieces of the puzzle. And see, I'm not wanting to go into a lot of stuff because they aren't here. She's not here to defend herself. But I will say this about what you introduced. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And the spawn of Satan, aka your second wife, was definitely that common enemy. And you know, when you have an adult that is able to put up the airs in front of people, but then behind closed doors, they are abusive towards the children, emotionally abusive towards the children,
Can I
manipulative.
say this? Can I say this?
Go ahead.
I had to apologize to my children. Um, I had to apologize to them, heart to heart to help them understand that I didn't understand what was going on. Um, it was dad's fault because dad is supposed to be the protector. That's my
Mm,
first responsibility. And I dropped the ball because I trusted somebody else. And I'm still ever building on my relationship with my oldest daughter. Um, it's one of those deals where it's stronger today than it was back then, but it's taking some time to really build on. Good news is I talked with her while she was with her mom this past weekend, and she had the house phone and she was blowing my phone up just to talk. And that makes me proud. That makes me happy to hear, you know, that my baby wants to talk to me. You know, that she can call me and talk to me just because, just you know, things just because, you know, that makes a big difference compared to where it was. I can't believe my dad left me to this evil situation.
and I'm going to say this: the woman that is driving, I really appreciate the fact that she loves you enough to tell you those tough things that we don't always want to hear. Because you know, G has to do it to me sometimes. Um, but that relationship, the fact that you all are able to communicate effectively now,
That part. That part.
you know, Trish was very instrumental for that. But there were times where Trish was like, I ain't got nothing to say, because she tried it. Trish was like, she tried it. And that would be the time where TJ was a co-parenting something. That's when TJ was there.
I ain't even
And,
hear it.
huh?
I just heard you say it. Good to see. That's all.
I said those times where Trish was like, I'm not talking to her. I ain't got nothing to say to her. Look, you deal with this. Cause if I deal with this, it's gonna get real ugly. And those were the times where the shoe was on the other foot, and you were the one that had to kind of be that mediator over and above when things first got started with the working together. And you know, Trish kind of helping you and the baby's mother to come together. Now, I want to say this. You know, I look at Kenyatta and her relationship with, you know, her daughter's bonus moms and what have you. And it is hilarious to me how you would think that they all lived under the same roof right now.
Yeah.
Because if something's going on with one, it's going on with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about Trish. I want to talk to you about TJ being in the relationship he has with your children's father.
Okay, so
Niggas.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of get upset when they get around each other because, first of all, that's my baby dad. How y'all gonna talk? And 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 I'm right here, like y'all don't even see me. Like they don't need me to help start a conversation. They don't need me to introduce each other. It's like, especially with my oldest two, with their dad, Tony. I never knew how much him and TJ had in common. They both were in the Marines. They both lost their mom and dad. Like they both have. I'm like, wait a minute. Was this playing, God? Like how did all of this come about? I mean, it's to the point where Tony could come to our house and cook for everybody. And I'm like, okay, this is a maturity thing. And it's like, they call me, tell TJ I say Happy Father's Day. I'm like, okay, you know, I will. And I'm like, did they know each other? Like, are they playing me? Like, all of this is going through my head. Like, is this real? But it is. It's a mindset. It is extreme. I've never seen this. Like, I it's speechless, because this is what we need every day with with other parents who are co-parenting. Get along with one another. It's not even about you anymore. And that's what I realized. Like, dang, they don't even need me to like introduce each other. I mean, introduce them to each other. Nothing. They got this. Like, this is something that they want. Like, I didn't have to push that on them. This is something that they, even with his wife, like Tony's wife, that's my best friend. I can call Crystal right now, and if I need to talk about anything, or if I need her to pray with me, or if I got something on my mind, like, okay, what is this? Let's talk. You know, and I'm like, okay. And I can call Tony, and I can be dealing with something. He said, call your best friend. I said, yeah, bye. And I hang up and I call my best friend.
So we're laughing because that is my relationship with number one and number four. Like, we are all like, I'm super close, super. Like I said, number one, that is my heart of hearts. Number four, she has become my heart of hearts, and she is my sister at this point. That one, you know, well, both of them, but you know, these are my sisters, because Willingham. So when I was there at their house, he went outside. He couldn't deal. He went outside. When I tell y'all, we laughed and joked and had a good time, and I cooked for everybody in their house. In their house. Like, I went to the grocery store. I came over. I was like, I'm going to need you to put this on the grill. He said, you can't come over my house and tell me what to do. His wife came downstairs. She said, what did she tell you to do? And then that was the end of that. You know, we booted him outside. You know, he gone somewhere. And so we all sat and we fellowshipped and we had a good time. I've actually talked to both of them today. Talk to both of them on a regular basis. Number 4, we sit there, she will be like, let me tell you the scripture, and we'll sit there and we'll talk about scriptures and whatever is on our minds, whatever is on our hearts, we share it, and we can do that and we can talk. Me and number 1, that is my ace. When I say my ace, and I think, and I'm just going to be very, very honest with you, I think we became closer. Her oldest daughter, so I say our oldest daughter, passed at the age of 15. And during that time, we were all a mess. And I had to step in at times and to do, to be the mom, and I had to step in at times and go to parent teacher conferences and things of that nature because they were dealing with the loss. Mm-hmm. So because they were, so I, I'm stepping in, I'm doing what I can do, as best I can. Excuse me, but right, even at the funeral, because at the funeral I was just like, everybody was a mess. I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead, so like they were like, you're not gonna come in the family, sit up here with the family. I'm like, no, I'm gonna need y'all to go. Y'all are her parents. But then they called me up from the back because I was like, I'm gonna stay back here in the cut. And so then when we were actually graveside, like they're pulling me up front, they're like, you need to be up here, and I'm like, But like I said, that was the level of respect and just, and that's just where we all are. So love her to death. I can call her at any given point in time. Her grandchildren are my grandchildren. So when people hear me say, oh, my granddaughter or my grandbabies, and they looking at me and then they want to look at baby girl, and baby girl like, don't be looking over here. Right. It's the middle daughter she has 2 baby girls, and so those are my grandbabies. And so we have one of the I don't want to say it's estranged. No, they all have a tribe. We do. We have a tribe, and it's centered around our children. Even now that they're all young adults, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we have a great question on the table for you guys. It says, do you all think co-parenting is easier or less dramatic between the dads as opposed to women? It always seems like most women can't do it with other mothers. Trish, I'm gonna let you start.
Ooh. I disagree because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, it's a mindset. It depends on who you are as a person. Just like if your mind is set on you going to get this car by the first of next month, oh, you're gonna make sure you go get that car by the first of next month. So it's a mindset. Like if there's something that you really want, regardless of how the other parent feel, because at the end of the day, what's best for the kids is gonna take place. And that's how I look at it, because God take care of babies and fools, and He gonna take care of those kids. So at the end of the day, what's best for them gonna take place.
I'm gonna mute your mic. Keep talking, Chris.
So it's a mindset. You have to have that mindset that this is what you want to do. And once you make your mind up on that's what you want to do, that it's going to be done. And you can't give up where you're not going to want to give up. You want to keep pushing. Yes, it's going to get hard. It's not going to get easy. But you got to push. You got to pray until something happens. You have to do. You got to do what your mind is set to do.
TJ.
I agree but I don't believe it's necessarily a intended, but I believe it's a culture thing though, because you got to think about the mindset of our beautiful Black women. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not just trying to talk about my little small circle. But what I'm going to say is the one that's portrayed through media, the one that's portrayed through television. You know, I was telling one of my brothers, man, I was like, and this is not a knock to women that do this, but it was like, there was this foul-mouthed sister that was just cussing up a storm. And I was like, man, even if I was single, that's so unattractive. You know, and this is me, but like say, I ain't mean to get into all of that. What I'm saying is, it's just a culture thing because the women are quote unquote catty or messy or whatever, and the way the culture drives on drama. You know what I'm saying?
Reality TV.
It's the reason Maury's been successful for umpteen 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Maury's on when I was a little teenager. Here I am, a grown man, you know. But
and it's like there's a comment. It says, "I agree, Trish, but in reality, not all people." And then she's got women have this mindset. It is a blessing to come together and co-parent without the drama, which leads me to my next question. As the two people that have come together with, you know, with your children, and then had a surprise pop up on us all. Whew, bless it. I love my little Reddy Pooh, but she surprised all of us. But I want to know, like, even with the two of you coming together, she'll come back. The two of you coming together as a couple, you know, and kind of setting common ground as to this is how we're going to handle discipline in our home. And, you know, these are our children, not yours versus mine. And, you know, because a lot of people get that mindset and maintain that mindset, but then you have those that come together and they're like, these are ours.
Right. Because your children and my children, no, your children and my children are beating up our children.
Right. Right. So as it relates, so as it relates to the two of you coming together, you know, and finding your common ground, because, you know, both of you had children coming into the relationship, which led to the co-parenting dynamic. So how did that kind of work out with the two of you setting parameters? It doesn't matter who starts.
Okay. Well, I know that both sets of children were missing something. And I hate to separate my kids, but I'm going to do it like this for this one time only. TJ's kids were missing something and my kids were missing something. So it's like we both had what the other child or the other kid was missing. Oh man, it's just like I forgot what I was going to say.
You were saying exactly what needed to be said. You had what his children needed, and he had what yours needed. Because when I tell you Jordan, her older son, looks and loves this fella like he came from his loins. Idolizing.
Yes.
Piglet looks just like it.
We feed him long enough. That's what happened.
No, she came in the picture looking like it.
She came in the picture looking like it.
I told Trish she had TJ on her mind when she declared his day.
and I know this is off the subject, but when we got married, our pastor that married us, he said, "Are you sure you were
That one ain't his.
right?" He
So
said,
she
"Are
was
you?"
pretty size when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh,
When they
wow.
right when they got married, she was 3, 4 years old.
Yeah.
God almighty. Right. Look, you see me, I was like, ooh. But so, as far as you all coming together and kind of setting a standard, okay, this is how we're going to do it. I know it probably wasn't easy coming from different backgrounds and, things of that nature and, you know, and then having your children experiencing such different life experiences. How have what did you all do to manage to kind of bring the dynamic together under your house, under your roof?
Well, I'm gonna step in and say this. It boils down to what Josh was saying. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Um, if I can stay in my role as a leader and the husbandman and do what I'm supposed to do right, then I can see the benefits of my wife and my children of them being, abundantly blessed. And it's like God has this funny sense of humor, dog. Uh, to where whenever I get out of place with me and him in his relationship, he takes my wife and my kids to whoop me straight. Listen, when I tell you the truth, and that's how I know I'm in God's will, right? When I'm not in God's will, like I get fussing and complaining about my wife and my children. I'm like, God, she doggone stubborn. She don't listen to nobody. She don't answer nobody. She don't even answer you. And here the killer part. Then what he'll drop in my spirit. TJ, why are you so hostile? With love and kindness have I drawn you. What did you drop that in my spirit for? I'm talking about her. It's the husband that covers the wife and sanctifies her. But God, you don't understand the stuff she's doing to me. This is stuff I got to deal with. Husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. I'm like, this. Oh, God, I'm not cut out for this agape love stuff. This ain't for me. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love, love, love is long suffering.
And Gary has definitely long suffered with me, Jesus.
So it's like it's one of those deals where he uses a crooked stick and hit a straight leg.
Ooh, I like that.
It's crooked as my wife and my kids be acting sometimes. They hit a straight leg.
Oh, but it's the wife and kids.
Yeah, they get me straight. They get me straight.
Oh, okay, they get you straight. Okay.
Yeah, they get me straight.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works for me. But I have to be in the right place with God and sums it out. That sums it out. I have to be that dude that insists that we're gonna take time, to Bible study. We're gonna take time to oh yeah, no doubt I'm on the losing end. Yeah, definitely. I agree. But it's one of those deals where I think the reward is so much greater than the investment that God has put in, that I have to put out.
Yeah, because I was, and I was really like when it comes down to how do you all like when the children go visit the other parents, and then how does that tend to work out when they go visit? Like if
Well,
the
right now, some of our kids got group chat. with the other parents and the other kids. Sister Alani's best friends with Caden and Piglet, and they call each other in video chat and this, that, and the other. And then Jordan and none of them sisters, they be talking with Piglet all the time and pet talk. It's a big old mix up. I'm waiting for the big sleepover to happen at some point in time. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't be shocked.
He said, "I won't be shocked."
Yeah, well, I'm thankful. I truly am thankful that see you all are a young couple and you have a lot of old individuals that don't understand that it is not about us, you know, and and I know as a couple you all deal with your own, dynamics in your relationship and the children kind of see whatever is going on. They kind of feel the energy of mom and dad and all of that kind of stuff. But then at the end of the day, what I want to say that really stands out for me when it comes down to the McBrand clan is they all know that they're loved.
They do.
At the end of the day, they all know that they are loved and they don't always have to look. You ain't got to beat a person into submission. Sometimes you just have to love them into it.
Mm-hmm.
And what Trish was saying was, like Michelle kind of pointed out, what was missing was her children, even though they have great dads, they didn't have that physically present father. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing with TJ's children. They have a mother, but they did not have that mother that would pour that maternal love into them on the level that they needed it. I'm TT. I'm Grand T. I'm whatever they decide to call me. But at the end of the day, while they know I love them with everything in them, they look at me as, okay, you keep messing with me, I got somebody that's gonna beat you up.
Yes, ma'am.
And it makes me feel some kind of way because that's what they look at me as, like the one that's gonna, beat up whoever messed with them. But the fact that I was comfortable leaving Mississippi because I knew that my brother and those babies had a woman in their lives that truly, truly, truly loved them with everything. And I think they probably go at it so much, at least used to, was because she's so much like me.
Yeah.
TJ say that all the time. Well, he used to, but he still say it, Trish.
She like, mm-hmm.
He still say it. Why you sitting there with a straight face? Why you trying not to respond, young man? Huh? Just because
we are not doing the mannequin challenge.
He's like, unmute. It was just when you were driving the road. So you can unmute Trish if you need to. That was the only reason I had you muted. But yeah, I want to commend the two of you for being a young example of what so many parents need.
Absolutely.
See, it's a trip. If you all were to hear just the full story for this one, it would surprise you how parallel so many of your experiences are with her experiences.
Oh, my life deserved to be on Maury. Or better yet, a Tyler Perry play. That's why I can't watch Tyler Perry play now. Because I lived it.
And then he be want to cry.
You and me both, honey. You and me both.
But I love you guys. And what we're going to do right now, for those that aren't aware, we a couple years ago, we went through an ordeal with a house, and everybody that was following us at that point knows that we were given 10 days to move out of our home, almost 3,000 square feet, by the Indiana Department of Health because it was discovered that it was mold infested from the attic to the basement. And it all came about the discovery from a small drip. And we are proud to say that, we were blessed on short notice to be able to get into an apartment and that we stayed in for a couple of years, but we are now back in a standalone home. And, we want to thank everybody for your love, your prayers, your support to make that happen. Um, it just goes without saying that some things you just kind of take for granted until you don't have them anymore. And when I look, and I'm going to bring this around to the co-parenting topic by saying, even though we went through what we went through, we are we are back here, in a home, but it makes me appreciate the fact that whenever we decide to have a get together, whenever we decide to have our tribe come through, we can do so and it be peaceful because we've got our the base of the family, and then we also have those bonus parents for the children that would be coming. And so we can do that now. We can enjoy family now. Whereas there, we weren't even really enjoying it. We was thankful for the roof, but pitter patter of little feet at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night while you're trying to sleep. Or hearing the washing machine going at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning while you're trying to sleep. Or you're hearing our neighbors arguing. Okay, so what? But then you don't want to hear them make up. Y'all get you just don't want to hear all that. So to be able to just have a place of peace is priceless. And we want to say thank you to everyone that has supported us and prayed for us. Now that we are in our space again, there are going to be some major moves happening because we can actually do them. And I want to, and there are going to be some products coming soon, some giveaways that are going to be coming soon. And they're going to be made by.
Oh, the other way.
He said the other way.
Yeah.
That's why I just pointed at. Yeah, I just pointed at the screen.
Cutting up with Trish.
Yeah, you don't point one way or the other. You just point at the screen.
Just point at her. We have some great things that are going to be coming for you all, just as appreciations and, thank yous for being amazing, amazing supporters and for showing us constant love.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say to my babies, because they're both my babies, they're both our babies. Thank you all for being willing to share your stories.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being willing to be transparent. Because it's not easy parenting just with the parent, but then when you add the dynamic of that bonus parent,
absolutely,
it becomes a totally different dynamic.
Yes.
And I'm going to let my sister actually, you know, say what she wants to say, and then I'm gonna let Trish, you have some final words of advice for those who are. Deanna said, "It's always about the children." I love the Brand clan, always.
We love you, Monday.
Um, Michelle said, "Yay, so happy with that. Look, can't wait for you to come down,
Truly,
sister."
truly.
But I want you, Trish, I want you to, from a woman's perspective, provide some insight. And then TJ, I want you from, the man's perspective to provide some insight. And then we're gonna go ahead and take this thing called life on to the next level for next week.
Yes, we are. So I just want to say that when it comes to the children, when it comes to their bonus, their biologicals, their other part, because the other part of the biggest part of it is those people that drive you crazy, they're still half of your children. It's half of where the children came from. So whether we want to deal with them or not,
We have to.
we should we should provide at any point at any cost that we can without putting ourselves in a padded room, the opportunity for those children to have the experience of both parents to and then there's the extended family because my mom will be like Auntie J, which is the first wife, and Auntie Mimi, which is the fourth wife, well the fourth number four, and these are all her bonus moms. You know what I'm saying? And then the all the children. I am the bonus mom. I am my own child has started calling me Ma because the others call me Ma all the time. Um, you have to put aside your differences to do what you have to do for your children. Everything that I have done in my life in the past in the past 20 years, because it was before she was born, has been for the sake of my child. Every change that I have made for the better, every relationship that I have had to power through at times has been for the betterment of my child and for her sibling. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Trish.
Um, I agree. Everything that I have done as well was for my children. I also have to sit back and look at, what if what if um what if that was your child, or what if that was your child without something, without that love from that bonus parent or from that other parent, and they needed that? What if that was your child? What if you wasn't there and that bonus mom was there? Would you want that bonus mom to be like, that's not my child, or I'm not going to deal with that? No, like you would treat that child like it was your own. So at the end of the day, if I wasn't around, and they had that bonus mom, while I'm here, I'm going to treat this child the way I would want someone else to treat my child.
Absolutely.
So you have to look at it like, no, this is not my child, but I'm going to treat it like it's my child, because that child may need something, or that the other parent can't give, or the bonus parent can't give. It's like you said, it's a puzzle. Like that bonus mom, it's a bonus for a reason. That bonus dad, it's a bonus for a reason. It's just something extra, something better. Everybody doesn't get a bonus mom or a bonus dad.
You right about
So,
that.
I mean, you have to look at it as if that's a child. We're doing this for the children. And we have to move self out of the way and do this for our children. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Mhm.
And another for a guy's perspective, I'll say that men will need to continue to be men. Uh, and what I mean by that, I'm submissive to guys. If you're having trouble with your children being disrespectful and you're having trouble with the bonus mom or the baby mom or the spouse or whomever may be, in your leadership at your household, I'm gonna suggest that the issue is deeper than them just rebelling against you. Because if you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing in God's purpose, then they're not rebelling against you, they're rebelling against God. So when it boils down to for a man, uh, just make sure you're standing on the right and you're standing on the right principles. Don't allow your own previous background differences cause strife issues between your family members, your blended family members. Don't let other folks try to tell you how to run your household because that's your household. That's how you pay your bills. That's how you get your peace. So it's like do those couple of principles, and I'm gonna leave this for the sisters, and I'm out. Uh, Sisters, don't be his side piece. Be his piece.
Hey, you better talk about that thing. He said, don't be the side piece, be his piece. Mm. Now, are you talking about PIECE or PEACE?
You know what? Why you gotta bye y'all. Thank y'all for joining us this evening on this thing called life.
Love you all. Stick around, you all.